Hello and welcome to another installment of Metallic Reviews, the show where I take an honest look at the harder, heavier side of music and give it an honest rating. You might notice that we're a little different, like seriously different around here this week. As it is, my laptop has given up the proverbial ghost, and I'm moving all of my writing and production efforts to my iPad for the time being. Yeah, fun times. But that won't stop this show from moving forward. And today, we're going to be doing a bit of a shift away from the hardline deathcore of cattle decapitation and heading into this world of hazy, atmospheric, post-metal with a bit of a progressive, sludgy punch to it. Yes, it's The Ocean, or the Ocean Collective, if you want to call them that, and their new album, Holocene, out May 19th on Pelagic Records. Now, it's been 3 years since we've heard from this German project. So it's yet another album with a fairly typical album cycle, and it's actually been kind of refreshing to have some of those here recently, to be honest with you. So, how they do? Let's jump in and see. Now, this is definitely not an album for those among the metal world who enjoy the brutal, guttural, woo side of the genre. I mentioned the shift in subgenres just a second ago. To be honest, though, it's not really a shift as much as it is this jarring jolt. Because we're going from Travis Ryan's intense, incredible, heavy growls and shrieks to Laiki Rossetti's soft, gentle croon. And that is this very interesting transition. But in the end, this album represents more of a win for those who like the softer side of metal rather than the heavier, sharp-edged side. There are genuine moments of beauty sprinkled throughout this record, yet there's always this looming sense of dread that pushes the record further towards an unknown horizon. Now, that helps the record's atmosphere and overall sound, but it can hinder it in some ways that I'll get to a little bit later on. First things first, the positives. The production on here provides a firm foundation for the record to stand on. It's something of this Baroness meets Neurosis style with a bit of flair thrown in here and there in the form of clicks and electronic sounds. And we'll get to how those hinder the album here in a second, but the metallic elements are mixed with an ear towards a complete match between the rhythm section and the guitarists, and they all fit together well. Rossetti exists right at the top of the mix, and everything breaks down nicely from there. Everyone has their own place, nobody steps on anyone else, and nothing is muddled. It's crisp, it's clean, and there's very little in the way of these sort of needless frills and gimmicks. Now, in terms of songwriting, the positives exist when the band embraces their metallic side and pushes themselves in that direction. When they allow the atmosphere of the album to envelop their musical penmanship, it works. It works on a number of levels. For instance, in the small medley between the songs Atlantic and Subboreal, right in the middle of the record, there's this slow start to both songs, and you kind of get a little antsy, but when they get to a certain point and they unleash the actual music, it's something to behold. In contrast, the first two songs on the album, Pre-Boreal and Boreal, a lot of boreal stuff on this album, they rely more on their metallic elements to push them through. And this dynamism is something that really helps keep the listener invested in the record, because there are times where you will want to shut this record off. I mean, seriously, I wanted to shut this record off at certain points and, toss it in a rubbish heap and burn it for the fluff that it is. Then the metal returns and you want to listen even further. Somehow, some way, the Ocean have created the ultimate lukewarm record. Lukewarm, like worse than weak coffee. I mean, seriously, this album is lukewarm. Remember those clicks, those electronics I talked about a couple of minutes ago? They are everywhere. And I mean everywhere on this album. Now, as the record progresses, one begins to realize, much to one's dismay, I might add, that the band are relying rather heavily on these minute taps and little hits of an electronic snare drum. They go on and on and on. Now, this could work, again, if they didn't appear on basically every track on this 52-minute album. I think a little more variety, because when the band do press themselves to where they need to be, this album is one of the best of the year. When they exist in a slow, plodding abandonment of metallic excitement in favor of crooning over these misplaced clicks and synths, they created one of the worst albums of the year. Again, the ultimate lukewarm project, which is a shame because there's a lot of legitimate talent on here. Now, one of the things I do appreciate here is the lyricism, which is very poetic, meticulous in its vocabulary, well thought out, and well put together. After Travis Ryan's human-hating schlock from last week, I'm refreshed by this band's attempts at relating humanity's struggle in methods that don't involve the death of every last person on this earth. Seriously, again, how has Travis Ryan not gone to jail for this? I mean, I get freedom of speech, I get all of that, but that's some seriously evil crud that's going on over there. But I digress. Back to this record. The lyrics of Holocene are definitely a strength, probably the biggest strength of the whole album, and help in those sections where the record can get a little on the boring side. And by a little, I mean a lot. Overall, the Ocean have released an album. That's pretty much all I can say about it. While some of the musicianship and songwriting can be mind-blowing at some spots, it's a shame that these are counterbalanced with an over-reliance on these clicking sounds and these dull, plodding, very slow sections. I wish that I could combine the lyricism and some of the atmosphere of this record with the overall songwriting and punishing heaviness of the Cattle Decapitation record. But as it is, I have to judge both records for what they have to offer, and in terms of music, Cattle Decapitation had the far superior record. Thus, the long streak of excellence here in Metallic Reviews comes to a disappointing end. While far from the worst record ever, Holocene just didn't do it for me. The Ocean sinks to a 3 out of 5. Thanks for watching. Click like, and please don't forget to subscribe for more Metallic Reviews, where hopefully we'll get back to some sense of normalcy very, very soon. Next time, we're going to be heading back into the world of metalcore to check out Canadian Export's Arrival of Autumn and their new album, Kingdom Undone. I hope you'll join me. You've been watching Metallic Reviews, where I give honest ratings to honest music. I will see you all next time.